Hello and welcome, fellow sovereigns, and a little history lesson that we can take into the future. So back in 1942, Albert Einstein was walking around the quadrangle of Cambridge University in England, being told off by one of his colleagues because he had just set a test, and at that moment his students were sitting the test. And his colleague was really upset because, as he said to Albert, the questions you set this year are exactly the same questions you set last year. And Albert said, yes, they are. They're the same questions, but he said, the answers are different. And that's how life is. The answers are different now. And about 20 years ago, Stanford University in New York, the business school, studied around 800 business units or groups of business people. So not 800 businesses, but units within businesses. So there are 800 business units. Okay, so the idea was to see how people tackled problems and how they solved issues. So when they came to a brick wall and things weren't working, what did people do? So they found that around 60%, was it 61% of people or groups, when something wasn't working, they would do more of what's not working. They would do it harder and faster and in a more focused way, in a more, I don't know. So there would be more of what's not working. Which when we say it, it sounds absolutely stupid, but it's what we all do. We try and force what's not working. So that was 61%. 36% did less of what's not working. So they kind of pulled back and they tried to sort of be softer about it and take less energy and almost not necessarily ignore the problem, but pull back from it. So when there was a problem, 97% of people carried on doing what wasn't working. So they're either doing more of what wasn't working or less of what wasn't working. The 3%, and these were the most successful business groups and sometimes businesses, the 3% would say, it ain't working, throw it out, start with nothing. Let's pretend in this moment that we've just been born. We have no history, we have no context, we have no knowledge of what all of the ramifications of things are. We're starting from this moment of nothingness. And instead of trying to fix what's not working, try something new. As if we're starting from scratch, from the void, from the emptiness. And some examples of those are, one would be Dell, which decided, because at the time everybody was selling their computers in shops. And Dell thought, well, let's be different. Let's have a non-shop selling of computers. It's not the word, whatever they said. So obviously nowadays it's very, very normal. And so you can't go into a shop and buy a Dell computer. And you can't take your Dell computer back and complain about it to somebody in the shop. They do not exist. They're all online. And that nowadays is very normal, but 35 years ago, no, it wasn't 35. No. 98. That was revolutionary. Another example of the 3% thinking is the London taxis. Now, to be a London taxi, you need to pass a test. And it's called the knowledge. You have to have the knowledge of the streets of London. And typically people will get on their bicycles for at least a year, sometimes more. I know some people have tried to pass the test of the knowledge for over 5 years. It's very difficult. And 100 years ago, London was a much simpler city. But nowadays it's very complex, it's growing. There's more one-way streets and all sorts of other things, and there's more streets and there's more this and there's more that and there's more railways and there's more. And getting to know the knowledge is incredibly difficult. And part of the knowledge is if you want to go from, I don't know, Chermside to Watford or whatever, and there's roadworks here, how do you get to it? So you need to know not just the direct routes, but you need to know when there's a problem here, how do you get around it, and all of that. It's becoming harder and harder for the London taxi company to get drivers because people are less and less interested in having to learn the knowledge. So there's a shortage of drivers. So instead of trying to do more, trying to make it easier to learn the knowledge and all of that sort of stuff, a company has gone, or the taxi company itself actually, has now got another division because they've realised they not all of their taxis need to know the knowledge, because there's a lot of Londoners who know London and they know where to go. So there is a group of taxis where the taxi drivers don't know the knowledge. They don't know every street in London. So if you are a Londoner or you're a local, you know where you want to go and how to get there, you get in your taxi for a slightly smaller fee and you tell the taxi where to go. That's 3% thinking. Instead of trying to make the knowledge easier, throw the knowledge out and start again with nothing. So that's the kind of thing that's going on on this planet. So I was at a meeting Sunday down the road, and there's lots of these meetings going on whereby groups of people are saying our community, our government, our business, the way we do things, our councils are not working. So rather than complain about them or try and fix them as the 97% will do, they're going, well, it's dead. There's no point in polishing a skeleton and expecting it to stand up and go again. It's dead, let's move on. So instead of complaining about a civilization or a society or a community that's not working for people, groups of people are now saying, well, we'll just start with our own. We'll start from the nothing. We'll start from the void. That's the 3% thinking. And so these are happening all over the place. And Cairns is one that's a little more advanced than the one here. And apparently, I've been told, I haven't confirmed this, but I've been told that in Cairns, for example, there's 2 police forces. And it's almost like there's sort of this two parallel communities living in the same city. And some are living in the old way that's slowly dying, and some are, if you like, buying into the new system and being policed by the new system. And it would be interesting to see how this happens. So there's a lot of people complaining about this and saying this is unjust and writing books about what they did and the naughty, and we need revenge, we need retribution, we need have all these bad people out there hung up, strung up, and what Nuremberg kind of trial thing. And that's the 97%, trying to fix what's not fixable, trying to fix what's actually dead. It's like taking a wreck of a car and trying to fix it. And maybe the old car was a station wagon. But we don't need a station wagon anymore. Maybe we need a sports car now, or a bulldozer, or some different vehicle. So instead of turning a bulldozer into a sports car, let's just go and get a sports car. A silly illusion, but it's the kind of thing that's happening. And so around the world, communities are saying, this ain't working. And not beating themselves up or not beating the system up, just starting with what they do want. Because every time we complain about something, we complain about the government or the council or the system or the police or the medical system or whatever, every time we complain about it, we're giving it our focus and we're making sure it stays. If we want it to go, move our focus to something new. And then be in the new, like mentally as well as physically. And watch the new spring up. So rather than trying to revive a dead or polish up a skeleton, maybe we simply give birth to a new creation, a new civilization, a new society, a new community with whatever values we wish to imbue it with trust and integrity and cooperation and transparency, integrity, love, the embodiment of love, compassion. Maybe if we focus on those rather than the things that we don't want, we focus on what we do want, we will see those arising. And the people doing that are those in the 3%. They are leading us in the new change. They're saying, that doesn't work, let's start new. Let's have a new taxi company. Let's have a new shop without a shop, as Dell and the London taxis did. And there are thousands of these turning up in the world at the moment. And we'll see more and more of them. And that's all I have to say. And I wish you, what do I wish you? I wish you a new way of thinking. Step into the 3% and watch the new arise. That's what I wish. And I bless you and all who sail in her.